Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut, the capital of hot Lebanon, in the family of geologist Samuel and dancer Patricia Bond. Keanu owes his spectacular appearance to his Hawaiian and Portuguese, on his father's side, as well as English and Irish on his mother's side, roots. Keanu Reeves' father was an extraordinary person. He had no higher education, and what is there, he received his high school diploma in prison, where he got on charges of heroin trafficking. 2 years after the birth of Keanu in the family was a baby girl Kim, and soon after that, when the boy was barely 3 years old, Samuel left the family. After that, Keanu moved with his mother and sister first to Sydney, then to New York, where his mother, who by then had retrained as a costume designer, married Broadway director Paul Aaron. After that, the family finally settled in Toronto. Ever since then, Keanu has always considered the hospitable Canada as his homeland. Keanu later had 2 more sisters from the marriage of Patricia and rock promoter Robert Miller, Karina Miller and Emma Rose. At school, Keanu Reeves studied reluctantly. Subjects were given to the future actor with difficulty. All because in childhood the boy suffered from dyslexia, that is, a violation of perception of oral and written information. Because of this, Keanu was difficult to read, write and, accordingly, to learn. Because of the ridicule of classmates and contemptuous attitude of teachers, he quickly became withdrawn and insecure, but having grown up, was able to cope with his complexes. In 5 years Reeves changed 4 high schools, including the School of Acting, from which the young man was expelled. After that, he has already gnawed the granite of science in the Catholic school for boys. Leaving in her, Keanu began to play hockey and entered the public free school. Keanu was a first-class goalkeeper and felt confident on the ice. But this school and the future actor dropped out, and did not receive a certificate of maturity. After that, he moved out of his parents' house, moved into the basement of his girlfriend Pam's house and started working 3 part-time jobs at once, sharpening skates at a local hockey court, trimming bushes in parks and making spaghetti at an Italian restaurant. Keanu Reeves played his first role at the age of 15, taking part in local theatre Leopoldsland's Theatre's production of The Wolf Boy. In 1983, Keanu Reeves first appeared on television, starring in an advert for Coca-Cola, as well as in an episode of the typical youth series Hangin' In. His first role in a feature film came in 1986. The young actor played the role of a hockey goalie in Peter Markle's tape Young Blood. After the release of the tape, Keanu Reeves received a green card and moved to Los Angeles. Former stepfather Paul Aaron helped Keanu to settle in the city and found a young talent personal agent. In the early 90s, the name of young Keanu Reeves was no longer an empty sound in the world of cinema. So, he managed to demonstrate his charm in the costume melodrama Dangerous Liaisons with Glenn Close, Michelle Pfeiffer and John Malkovich, as well as in the youth comedy The Incredible Adventures of Bill and Ted, playing a couple with Alex Winter. In 1991 the action film On the Crest of the Wave was released, for the sake of which the actor tried himself in surfing and suddenly became seriously interested in the sport. In the same year, the premiere of the independent film by Gus Van Sant My Private Idaho, where Keanu reincarnated in the rebel Scott, out of protest engaged in street prostitution. A big hit for Reeves also became shooting in Francis Ford Coppola's thriller Dracula. The young actor played Jonathan Harker, who was captured by an insidious vampire in love with his fiancée. In 1993, he appeared before the audience as one of the reincarnations of Buddha in the film by Italian director Bernardo Bertolucci Little Buddha. In 1994, in the filmography of the actor appeared the first real action film, Speed. In the plot, the heroes Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock try to defuse a bomb set in a bus by a mad terrorist played by Dennis Hopper. The next landmark work of Keanu was the main role in the film adaptation of the story of the cyberpunk classic William Gibson's Johnny Mnemonic. The film is set in an alternate future where Reeves is an information courier who carries valuable data in his own brain. It is noteworthy that the film was originally conceived as a subtle psychological drama, but as soon as Speed was released, which instantly made Keanu an action star, director Robert Longo added scenes with fights and shootouts, which later caused Gibson's displeasure. But the truly cult actor Keanu Reeves became after the premiere in 1999 of the first part of the cyberpunk trilogy The Matrix from directors Wachowski. His hero, hacker Thomas Sanderson, nicknamed Neo, discovers that the reality around him is nothing more than a fiction created by machines to subjugate humans after the triumph of artificial intelligence. Freed from the captivity of illusion, Neo becomes one of the leading figures in humanity's struggle to regain freedom. The clever and dynamic Matrix, full of subtle references to world masterpieces of cinema, philosophical treatises and even Alice in Wonderland together with the Bible, became a cult film of the passing 20th century, almost marking a new era. Based on the trilogy wrote books, created computer games and even drew anime. Funny that Keanu Reeves himself for a long time, even after the release of The Matrix, in principle did not have a computer. But he personally took part in the work on costumes and special effects. After the success of The Matrix, Keanu Reeves starred in, according to critics, a string of unsuccessful works. The Gift, Hardball, Sweet November, Bad Habit, Ally Parker, Love by the Rules and Without. Films are not bad, but from the cult actor expected roles of a different level. And waited. In 2005, the audience saw Keanu Reeves in a new role, cold-blooded ironic exorcist Constantine, forced to patrol the border between heaven and hell in anticipation of imminent death. After Constantine, Lord of Darkness about Keanu again spoke as an iconic figure of Hollywood. At this time, the actor got his own star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. In 2013, Keanu himself took the director's chair, presenting the action film Master of Taikai. The directorial debut of Keanu Reeves was welcomed positively. In parallel, Keanu Reeves starred in the fantasy action film 47 Ronin. Keanu was the only American actor chosen for the lead role. The other characters were given to popular Japanese, but little known outside the country actors. Dynamic and atmospheric film received many warm reviews, as well as the next, already quite different, action film with Reeves, John Wick. If Keanu Reeves' name was once associated with Neo from The Matrix, in 2014 it was fused with the image of suave lone assassin for hire John Wick from the neo-noir thriller of the same name. At that time, Keanu was on the verge of his 50th birthday, but once again demonstrated brilliant professionalism. As in The Matrix, all the stunts in John Wick he performed himself, although since the time of Neo and his kung fu has been 15 years. Preparing for the role of Wick, Reeves spent 4 months practicing judo and jiu-jitsu. Keanu Reeves from childhood was characterized by reticence and was not the most sociable young man. Many girls, captivated by his frank gloom, found it a special charm. However, Keanu did not let anyone close to his heart, although he had many fleeting romances and casual relationships. In 1998, at one of the parties, the actor met Jennifer Syme, who was a friend of Keanu's sister. It was love at first sight, and soon Keanu, who recently claimed that he was afraid of serious relationships and, even more so, the birth of children, decided to have a child with Jennifer. The girl was to be born on the 8th of January 2000. The lovers even chose a name, Ava Archer Syme Reeves. But at a checkup just a week before the birth, the doctor discovered that the baby girl's heart had stopped beating. And in 2001, the mother of the actor's unborn child also died. 29-year-old Jennifer Syme crashed in a car crash. On the way to a party at Marilyn Manson's Jeep, girl for some reason lost control and crashed into 3 parked cars. Jennifer had not fastened her seatbelt and flew out of the car through the front window at the collision. Police assured that Jennifer was under the influence of drugs or medication at the time of the accident. Many believe that this accident was the basis of Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, whose assistant was the late Jennifer. Beloved Keanu buried next to his stillborn daughter. And after the accident, the actor made a social video about the importance of wearing a seatbelt. The actor was sure that if not for that, Jennifer would still be alive. But this was only the beginning of a string of personal tragedies. Keanu Reeves. In January 2003, his beloved little sister Kim began to progress leukemia. The terrible diagnosis was made back in 1993, but up to this point, the disease was able to buy. Keanu practically refused to film, surrounding his sister with love and care. All earned royalties he gave for treatment and care. A few years later, he took part in the program Stars Against Cancer, where he said that his sister managed to beat leukemia. At the end of 2019, the media reported that Alexandra Grant and Keanu Reeves were dating. They were seen together at a social event. Alexandra is a famous artist, graduated from the California College of the Arts. Her works have been exhibited all over the world. She met Keanu at a dinner party in 2009. 2 years later was the illustrator of the first book in the biography of Keanu Reeves, Ode to Happiness. In 2017, Keanu Reeves and Alexandra Grant founded their own publishing campaign. Fans were wondering how his relationship with Grant would turn out, and whether the stars would get engaged and get married. Rumors about the engagement flared up with renewed vigor when Keanu was caught in a jewelry shop looking at diamonds. But so far there is no talk of legitimizing the relationship, but photos of Keanu Reeves and Alexandra periodically appear in the media, and the couple looks quite happy. Perhaps it is time for fans to breathe a sigh of relief. For the first time in his biography, Keanu Reeves is happy in his family, and the fact that the relationship is unofficial hardly affects their depth and sincerity. Keanu seems to be happy with his lover Alexandra Grant, with whom they occasionally appear together at events or just on the street.